To Brian Claypool, a civil rights attorney, would know the legalities of all of this. So, Brian, let me ask you just a very basic, but probably a dumb question. Does the president have its authority to do this?
Well, Neil, good to see you again. And that's not a dumb question at all, because sometimes there is no law in place. The law isn't always black and white. And make no mistake about it, in this situation with this pandemic, we don't have an existing law passed by Congress dealing with mandated vaccines. So that takes us into a new realm of evaluation, since this is so novel. And that is President Biden now relying on what you mentioned, OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Act. It was enacted in 1970. Now, arguably, Biden can rely on OSHA because there's what's called an emergency provision in OSHA that allows a president to create a mandate like this if there is if people are in grave danger of a particulate or another matter that might cause them harm. Now, Republicans are going to argue, well, wait a minute, there is no grave danger here. There's no empirical data that people are in grave danger. But look, Neil, at the end of the day, it's going to depend on what jurisdiction you're in, too. There's not going to be uniform rulings across the country. I'm in California. If this is challenged in California, Biden's mandate's probably going to be upheld. If it's in Texas, probably not.
So I'm wondering if the long-term direction of this is such that the president, let's say he legally loses this argument, maybe he intended that to be the case, and that this is a strategy to, in the interim, get as many people vaccinated as possible to make this all a moot point.
Yeah, great point, Neil, because President Biden just wants to win the game, and the game here is not a permanent vaccine. This isn't a 3 to 5 year game plan by President Biden and the Department of Labor. This is a short-term gap measure, and what you're alluding to is correct. For example, if somebody wants to challenge this mandate, and by the way, the governors that want to challenge this through a state attorney general, they're going to run into an issue with standing, because I don't believe an attorney general has standing to sue. It would be the employers that are required to have employees vaccinated sue. But at the end of the day, even if this is 6 months down the road or a year down the road before these cases reach the United States Supreme Court, the purpose of this mandate will have likely been accomplished, and that is to have millions of unvaccinated people get vaccinated.
Brian, thank you very much. You made sense of that to me. That's a tough thing to do, to get through this thick skull. Brian Claypool, civil rights attorney, much more when it comes